This is Bill Gross, and this is our recently renamed live stream. It's the LA LA County Real Estate Investing Association, formerly LARIC, and you can still find us at LARIC. We're the official podcast for the group of people that look to invest out of Los Angeles, but we may invest on properties in LA or outside LA. And very commonly, I think outside, most LA investors are a little burnt out of the whole LA rental property scene, and so looking for other alternatives. So we do both. We get together every Tuesday, 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern, and we live stream it on YouTube and Facebook and social media, and record it for afterwards. But it's meant to be participative, and so this is designed for somebody who's new, starting out, looking for the first or second investment, and you have questions. Now, there's some experienced people as well on here who want to meet with you. But this call is designed to teach you to get started, get in the process. I'm a listing agent. I primarily work with experienced investors, and I often get asked, well, how to get started? And the answer is, well, I'll put on a class every week and bring in experts that can help you get started, and then find the one that fits you. And I think there's a lot of, if you're on the internet at all, or you search in the space at all, there's a lot of different avenues and people, different flavors, I would say. And some people like chocolate, some like chocolate mint, some like cherry vanilla. And these two today, I don't know what flavor they are. I haven't tasted either one of them. They're different.
Chocolate and vanilla swirl. Well, in the hair department.
Yeah, a little more than that. You guys got a little more going on than chocolate vanilla. I don't know. But there are a whole lot of that. But really a lot of fun. I think that's how the part is, that whatever success you have in life, you have to have a community of people to help you. So I'm really excited to have Jen and Stacey Conkey on our call today. Hey guys, how you guys doing today?
Great.
Oh, we're awesome.
Bill, how are you?
You guys are awesome. Awesome sauce. 2 scoops right there. So real quick, where are you guys geographically coming to us from today?
Florida, in the Orlando area of Florida.
Whoa. You were in Florida last time I talked to you. You guys live in Florida?
We do.
I didn't know that. I was in Florida last month. I didn't know that.
Oh, really?
Oh,
I love Florida. I lived in Boca for 2 years, got married there, and go about once or twice a year in business. And I was there in Orlando in I'm with eXp Realty. We have our annual convention in Florida, and it was lovely. Love Florida. Love the state. So wow, very nice.
We were residents of California up until a year ago.
Yes,
we've been in Southern California specifically. So we're fairly new transplants to this side of the country.
Both
you guys got out
in LA. Yeah,
you guys got out. I'm still here. Help me get out, please. Help me. It's funny. I just caught myself today. I said to somebody today, my best friend just moved to Arizona, Scottsdale. And so it's funny, I just caught myself because 10 years ago, my best friend moved to Florida. And then 3 years ago, my best friend's moving to Hollywood, Florida. And now my best friends, I keep changing my best friend and they keep moving. Maybe I should stop calling people my best friend. So look, I know you guys have a whole thing going on with coaching as well as investing, but let's go back to the beginning. How did you get into real estate? How did you get into investing the first time for yourselves individually?
So, Jen and I, when we both started our individual careers, we were not together back then, but it started about 20 years ago, back in 2003. For me, I was working in corporate America, and I'm a CPA. My field was accounting, and kind of on that, I found out about real estate investing. To me, it was extremely logical. And I was like, rental property, yeah, that just makes sense. And I liked the idea of creating financial freedom. And personally, I feel like I'm the kind of entrepreneur that I just don't work that great in a job. I'm really a very hard worker. My work ethic is very high, but like to have to be in an office and report at a certain time and leave at a certain time is like, it's so weird. It's such a ridiculous thing to me. Just like set me free and let me go soar. I will do amazing things. And that's just not how the world worked for me. And so I was seeking a way out and ended up finding about real estate. And that's just where my journey started. It was almost 20 years ago.
Yeah.
When you were 13 years old.
Right.
I was only 11.
11, sorry. And just to translate to everybody else, you're obviously very passionate about what you're passionate about. And I think that's the thing. Many people find themselves not passionate because they're in some mind-numbing, Dilbert-like existence 8-10 hours a day. And when you get into something you love, it shows on your face. It comes across in your energy. And Stacy, both of you guys have really always attracted me that you seem so passionate about helping people and your own success. So Jen, how about you? How did you get into this business?
Oh God, I started in corporate America as well. I was actually fit for that cloth though. I was climbing the
Jen
corporate.
believes in being on time.
Yeah, I was on time and I planned everything to a T. So us working together is really funny and comical and entertaining for many. But for me, it also started in 2003. And what happened was I started in flipping. I was flipping homes with my brother and my dad, and I was doing that DIY approach, which wasn't very lucrative for me because I started in my own backyard, born and raised in LA, and my money didn't go very far. So after maybe the first 7 months making $1,500, I thought, holy crap, I got to figure out something different. But I spent 22 years in corporate America while doing real estate as a side hustle. So I climbed the corporate ladder, only to find out it was on the wrong wall. And about 8 years ago, retired.
Whoa.
Yeah. And
Well, you ran
and
that by fast. That's a good line. I'm going to use that one. So you climbed the
Yeah.
corporate ladder to find it was on the wrong wall.
Yeah. So it was very hard for me to make that decision to leave because at the time I was making a very hefty 6 figures, stock options, had that golden handcuffs going on, but I literally wanted to just be able to be with my kids. So
Wow.
even though I liked working in corporate America and it was for me and I enjoyed it, I enjoy this way more.
Wait, you just see just in her language, just those you're watching, you can see her face light up when she says that. You can see her energy. And I think that's the thing that we all want to find our lane where we can apply ourselves, more of us, and be more real and be more genuine. So, okay, so you guys got into real estate through flipping. It sounds like now you guys do this whole big thing with raising money and you're doing more sophisticated investments. You're investing. So tell me about that. What are you guys working on these days?
Well, so what we work on and what we're passionate about are sometimes two different things. So in the like in our real estate investment, we first of all, we have 4 small kids. Well, they're not that so small, but between 8 and 10 years old. So
Oh my
over the past
gosh, you
many
guys are
years,
busy.
yeah, we are we're very busy.
Oh my gosh.
In my opinion, they are still
exhausted.
small.
Yeah, they're still, they require a lot of time and attention. So the amount of active real estate that we do now is less than it was like in the past. But what we do, like right now, we have our real estate portfolio that we always built over the years and that we own, and we have property managers, but we are, just managing those assets.
Nice.
We have invested in a couple of.
Well, let's start right there for a second. How nice is that?
It's
well,
awesome.
that's really almost the only way we know how to do it. Cause for me, that was when I got started, I couldn't seem to get started where I lived, which was in California. So really early on for me, I learned about remote investing, thankfully, like kind of on accident, just by meeting somebody that was already doing it and kind of like, let me ask you a million questions. So my remote investing journey started in the same year that my investing journey did. So I've always done it where I had a property manager manage it. So that to me is that's just normal, even though I know it's not normal for a lot of people.
It wasn't normal for me, man.
Well,
Not until we started talking.
And if this is personal, you feel free to tell me that. But how do you know when you get paid from your portfolio? Like for me, I purposely have my income come to an account that sends me an email when I get a deposit because I love those emails. Do you guys, when you have passive properties, your property manager deposit money quarterly or monthly? How does that work for you?
No, it's every month. Yeah.
How nice is that?
Yeah, it's every month. And then every month we get a report that we get from all of our different property managers, and we go through, we review it. We review every single line item. And we oftentimes will ask a few questions. Anytime there's anything, even if we already kind of know what it is, once in a while, we'll just ask the question just for the purpose of conveying we are looking at our reports.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
And what we've found over time is that keeps, because property managers sometimes get the reputation for just kind of spending your money how they want or not being that careful. And my theory has always been, if they know somebody's actually watching and paying attention, your account is not going to be the one that they mess with.
Right.
And so we would do that anyway, because we're careful about our money, but that is something we do. And anytime there's anything that we're like not sure about, we'll ask the question, and it's pretty much always legit, but they know that we look every month. And I know when I was new as an investor, I didn't do that.
Right.
Because I was like, well, of course it's going to be right. Why wouldn't it? And I've come to just learn that's not the case.
Yeah, no, you got to, we try to stay on top of it, managing the asset to make sure we're getting the best and biggest returns.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's just super important to do it that way.
Yeah, I try to think of my money kind of like I'm the pimp and I have the dollars out on the street working for me. And I want them working hard.
Yes.
That's
But
right.
I think the other thing about reviewing reports and asking questions, I know that in managing employees, sometimes you ask questions that you know the answer to see how well they know the answer. And like you say, number one, I'm checking up on you, but number two, explain to me this so I understand that you understand what's going on as a way to keep on top of them. So
The way
you have
that
this.
we call that inspecting what we expect, Bill.
Very
Yeah,
nice.
and it works out.
So you guys have this portfolio, and that's fantastic, and that allows you to have a lot of the freedom that you have as far as your family time and things like that. And now you're still also though looking to do more deals. You're looking to put together. Last we checked, I know you're raising money for investment. Tell me a little bit about what you guys are working on as far as new investments.
So we are. It's funny because we're in the process right now, and it'll probably wrap up in the next month or so. But our acquisition this year so far, on top of just the portfolio we already own and the investments we made, was a 42 door or 42 key hotel that was a complete rehab.
A motel.
A motel. Oh, sorry.
There's a difference
motel,
with
not
the
a
H.
hotel. A motel, and that was a really heavy lift. And we've learned over time not to do more than one active heavy lift value out at a time because our time is just it's spread too thin. So we're in kind of the final month or so of that. So we're starting to look at what our next thing is. So we're looking at, our network has shifted. We're actually have a lot of different people who have communicated to us. We want to invest, but we don't really want to learn how to do it. And we don't really want to do it, but can you take our money and go make us money? And so we're looking at, do we just go get another building, put their money into it? Or do we do a fund of funds and get those, funds into multiple different other syndication? So we're actually looking at those different things because we have about, 6 weeks or so before we go into acquisition mode. So over the next couple of weeks, we're actually making that decision for ourselves. Nice. And I think, I feel like this is not really a beginner investor conversation. So I'm not sure how helpful it is to your beginner investors, but for us, it's just always because everybody has a limited amount of time, right? And you have to decide, how am I going to spend that time? Something that's really common for new investors or people getting started is there's so many different ways to make money in real estate that you could easily spend 2, 3, 4 years chasing every shiny thing, and then you get nowhere. Right. And we have just learned over time, like, make a decision, pick whatever the thing is. It doesn't have to be the thing for life, but what is the thing you're going to do next? Right. And then focus all of your attention. Right. Your investing attention on that thing, because you'll get the furthest, fastest. So right now we're in that, couple weeks of discovery, pulling some information and making a decision. And then after that, we'll spend the next 4 weeks going deep, and then we'll be in acquisition mode probably by September.
Yeah. I think one of the things that we are working on right now also is that we've looked at where should we invest next, and looking at different markets, emerging markets. And the way that we've done it historically has changed because of COVID and remote work and things like that. And the lending landscape has changed. So there's been a lot of things that have changed in the way that we used to find a market. And we just really, I started it, and then Stacy kind of polished it up, but we created our own new methodology on how to find a new emerging market. We actually just held an event with our students to do that. So based on the results of that and how we all went through, and there was probably, 16 different markets between everybody in the room. We're very excited about that and looking for opportunities and reaching out in those markets to start getting deals in while we're trying to figure out fund to funds. But that's what we're most excited about right now, because the motel has one building left to do the rehab on, which the roof is already done. So we've got 20 rooms that we've got to get through, and then we can start renting that out at the new rate. And then we get to button that up. So we're pretty pumped. Yeah.
I think the couple of reasons why I really enjoyed our conversation last time and when you on this call was, one is you guys have really moved your business based on the market. And also I can just tell your interests in your educational process, because you don't have to squeeze every dollar necessarily out of each minute. So you can look longer term. You guys have pivoted with the market a couple of times. And I think that's realistic for most people. I've been in real estate since 1986, but I was in lending. I've been in sales management. I was an executive. I've done coaching, recruiting. Now I'm back to brokerage. Then moved into probate. So within that career, a lot of different focuses. And like you with your real estate, I know you guys did fix and flipping. You did some multifamily stuff. Now you're looking to raise money, a motel, all kinds of different things. So that seems exciting. And the other part I noticed in following you is, let's be honest, your education looks like a party to me from the outside.
It is.
It should be
Well,
fun, right?
My corporate American background, in corporate America, we did a lot of team building, right? And we created the academy, and we have our students there, and mostly because we wanted to create a sense of belonging and a team, if you will. So whenever we do an event, we definitely have team building involved.
Right.
And this last time we had a scavenger hunt with everybody, and we make it a little competitive, but you can make some direct correlations between a scavenger hunt or an escape room or whatever it might be, to multifamily, and then how to do JV deals. So we thought it'd be good. And we always try to have as much fun as possible in the learning process, because that's going to make it stick. So yes, we party.
Yeah. I think I'd hang out with you guys. I don't know if I get anything done, but it looks like a lot of fun.
We really have two sides, Bill. Like when we're in education mode, it's A, B, C, D. It's extremely succinct. But when it's the relationship side of things, people do business with people that they can connect with and that they feel like they get along with and things like that. And
communicate with.
Yeah. And when people's real personalities can come out, then people have an opportunity to see, like, what are you about? What are you made of? And do I want to connect with you? And anyway, so we really try for our students, we try to create as many opportunities as possible so that they can do that and connect with each other. And, for us, my passion personally, we have different passions. It's both to help people. I am very passionate about helping brand new real estate investors get across the finish line of that first deal. Because I know if I can help them get there, then the next, I can help them much more easily in the second, third, fourth, fifth deal.
And I am passionate about the strategy and how to help them scale after they've got their first deal in, and the mindset that it takes to do that. So between the two of us, we'll put you to work.
So this is why I launched this call. Is I said I'm a listing agent primarily, doing probate real estate. They tend to be very sophisticated investors who buy them, and I would get new investors all the time who come to me and call about the property. And I didn't want to blow people off. It's not my nature, but I would say, well, it's not really for you. It's a little more complicated than a first-time investor. And I'm not going to hold your hand through this because I'm representing the seller. It's not like a traditional deal where I can really double end it because I have attorneys involved. It's a little different path. And I would say, well, where do I send them to? And so I do recommend anybody who's on this call who's interested in learning, come to the monthly Vendors Expo at the LA area Real Estate Investment Association I'm involved with. It's the second Thursday of the month. It was last week. So it'll be in about 3 weeks. Great place to meet people, meet vendors, meet coaches and trainers. But that's why I reached out again to Jen and Stacey, because you are a place that I feel very comfortable recommending people to. And like I say, there's different flavors and styles. And of course, if you're in LA, you guys are in a different area in Florida. So there's that to get over. But you guys really do a nice job helping brand new people get started. So describe that a little bit deeper. Let's talk about Rihanna says, do you know of anybody, any class or mentorship I might be able to be part of? And the answer is, well, yeah, I do, Rihanna. And one of them is Jen and Stacey. Can you talk a little bit, what would you have a new investor do? What's your program look like? What's the name of it? Where would they go?
Sure. So like we're the founders of the Remote Multifamily Investing Academy. That's what our academy is called. We really have two groups of new investors. One is the new investor who says, you know what, I've never done any kind of multifamily, or I've never done it out of state or remotely. And I really feel comfortable if I could just get started with like a duplex or a triplex. That's where I'm comfortable, right? So that's actually probably about 60% of the people who come into our academy. The other 40% of people that are like, you know what, I mean, a duplex, that's all well and good, but I don't know why I would bother with anything less than like 10 units or 20 units. So we kind of have those two groups where we really try to differentiate, because there's a lot of multifamily like gurus out there, and they say a lot of things, and they talk a lot about syndication. Nothing wrong with syndication. We do syndication. We invest in syndication. But when someone is brand new and they've never done multifamily real estate before, going into a syndicated deal is a very, very big leap. It's very difficult to be successful, and people almost never actually ever close on a deal, which means, what did they invest in? They spent a lot of money on their education and they didn't get anything out of it. So one of the things that's important for Jen and I is that when people decide they want to learn how to invest in multifamily real estate, that they actually be able to close on a deal. And so the big thing that we teach in the academy, especially for our new people or our new investors, is, look, you can get into your first deal. If you don't have all the capital to do it yourself, that's okay. 90% of the students in our academy do their first deal as a joint venture. So a joint venture is so much more simple than doing a syndication, because you can partner up with 1, 2, maybe 3 people and put your money together, and you're all doing the deal together. Even though you might be like the main person, you like on the market and talked to the realtors and got the deals and analyzed them, and you're doing all this stuff. And there's a couple people that are like, oh man, I want a deal, and I'm just so busy, I haven't found one yet, or I'm too busy to even look, but I've got capital. And so what we facilitated is everybody is getting educated about it. Some people are like, I don't have as much capital, but I am balls to the wall. Oh, sorry, I hope that's not inappropriate. Maybe it is. Anyway, I'm balls to the wall, willing to do the work, and I'm gonna make shit happen, man. I'm here to do it, but I need the capital. And then the people with the capital are like, oh my gosh, I absolutely want to partner with you because I want to learn it too, but I didn't find the deal, and can we learn together? And so we've had 180 joint ventures in the past 2 years, just within our group, anywhere from a duplex up to like 35 units. So we're not the group where people come to do their first deal as a 100-unit building, because that never happens, despite how sexy it sounds in marketing. It's just not the thing that gets people started. So that's really what we teach, is how do people get into their first deal. And then of course they end up staying. A lot of our students end up staying for 2, 3, 4 years because they don't want to leave the network, and they just keep growing and growing into bigger and bigger buildings. But with coaching, with us holding their hand as they're scaling. And Jen is really big on the strategy side of it. How do they spread their money? Yeah, we literally just had a call yesterday with students. And one of my favorite things is when they say, oh man, I'm selling this property and I'm getting 125K, Jen, what should I do with it? How do I spread the peanut butter out far enough for everybody to get into as many deals as I can, or leverage as much as I can? But we have folks that come into their first 90 days. They just we have an accelerated program where they come in and we guarantee you get into a deal in 90 days or you get your money back, right? Nice. A lot of people enroll into that and they love it. They book their first win. And then when they're done with that, they come into our 12-month program where we hold their hand and continue to scale. And we have some students that are in year 3 and scaling. So that's ultimately the gist of it. We've got 5 coaches that we have on our team that have been doing business with us and investing for over a decade. Wow. So we don't just hire any coach off the street. They had to know our system. They had to have done deals with us and be vetted by us, because we treat it like it's a family, and we want to make sure the students are taken care of. So it's a really fun time. If it's something that you're into, we do a weekly training every Wednesday at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern. No, 12 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. What's my name? That was 2021. That was.
You're Jen, right?
This isn't my office. Yeah, but we do.
It's new because I have a conflict. I host a call at the exact same time, and I have you in my calendar in case I get canceled in the call that I do, that I would jump into yours, but it's the same time. I know it's 12 noon Pacific time, 3 p.m. Eastern.
I never know where I'm supposed to be until Siri tells me so. So yeah.
Well, first off, we've changed the rating on this program to an R because of Stacy. So just FYI.
Right?
I thought Jen was the R-rated material, but
I am.
I'm sorry. I got two bleeps on Stacy so far. So no, that's cool. We're good. And sorry, look, I think
this is hilarious.
I think the other thing is that a certain people raise funds and they're focused on what they're focused on. People invest money and be focused on what they're focused on, right? I run a business. I'm doing really well, make a lot of money, more than I live on. I need to invest the difference. But I have a very set group of parameters that are going to work for me. I want to move to Florida, so I want to invest in Florida. I'm a broker. So when I go to Florida, I have certain advantages that an average investor is not going to have. I used to live in Florida. I know the area very well. So for a remote place, it's not unusual to me. I don't need as much boot on the ground. I like multifamily where I'm a small piece with a proven team. But I also get people approach me because of my platform and are glad to have me in that group. Most investors are not interested in bringing in that case. So when people ask me, well, what do you do? I say, well, I do what's good for me, because it works for me, but it may not work for you unless you want to live in Florida. Unless you're a real estate broker, it's probably not the right decisions process for you to follow. You guys have one I think that really works well for the first-time person, which is they need to find that team camaraderie. In addition to you guys being great coaches and having a great system, there's a lot of great coaches and a lot of great systems, and they run these webinars and you sign up, but then I get people come back to me kind of lost. I can't help them because I'm not in that game. But what I noticed about you guys is you have this community of people who are like-minded, all kind of playing together. How do you keep that energy? You talk about the team building, but it's got to be more than just team building. You have to solicit a team, you have to organize a team. How do you keep that sense of camaraderie that people want to get involved with?
Yeah, it all starts with, we have 2 weekly calls also. So we have a call that's happening right now, but we had a podcast with you. So we'll
Oh,
be
wow.
hopping off and joining the coaches on that call soon. But we have a call every Tuesday and Thursday where the students congregate, come ask questions, talk about their deals and look at different opportunities. And then there's a networking time frame within that same call.
Mhm.
We attend and we literally listen into what the coaches are coaching on, what the students are asking about. I do mindset pieces with them, but we stay connected all week.
Right.
Through we have a Slack. It's like a community where we message each other back and forth. Students can
So
ask deals
important.
constantly.
The
Yeah.
word you
so we
use,
stay connected.
connection, so important. I think real estate, especially in these times of COVID, can be such a lonely business.
That's
Right.
exactly why we started it.
Yeah. And we started this because I used to go and do like one-on-one training. I would just fly to people and I would spend 3 days with them, help them launch their business in a couple of days. But Jen and I, we wanted to have a broader reach. And so just before COVID started, we did change it to group and online. And then we did some one-on-one coaching, but everything was online. And then COVID hit like a month later and we were like, well, thank God that we did it this way because we would have to do it anyway. But everyone was very much isolated. And there's this feeling of like, even if it wasn't COVID, I'm sure everybody here, if you're an entrepreneur or even if you're new to real estate and you're starting to try to talk to your friends because you're all excited about what you're learning, people are looking at you like you have lobsters crawling out of your ears. Like, okay, I've heard about that before. Oh, be very careful. And they're just, people are, they care, but they're negative. And so you start to feel very alone when you start stepping out to do something different than the herd. It starts being isolated. So to be around other people that are like-minded is extremely important. And then, and even COVID or not, Zoom, which really, really exploded from COVID, has allowed people to come together and have community, even if we're not in person.
Right.
And then when we can get together in person, like that's awesome. But
Yeah.
Like we have people we've never met in person before. I feel like we absolutely know their soul and they know ours.
Yeah.
We don't need to be in person. When we are, it's like, of course, I already know you.
That's probably why it looks like a party, Bill.
Yeah, but the community side is hard. It is really important because it's hard when you're any kind of entrepreneur. If you're not surrounded by entrepreneurs, it feels very lonely, especially because this is not an easy business.
Yeah.
As you know, there's a lot of times where you got to get creative. You have to be resourceful. You have to, you got to suck it up and really like push through to the finish. And when you're doing it on your own, it's just, it's hard. It can be disheartening, but when you're doing it with a community of other people that are like, you know what, I've been through that before or something similar.
Right.
You can do this. Do not give up.
And then you
Keep
never
going.
feel alone.
And then you
Right.
never feel alone.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Which is
Just like
really
what Michelle
important
said,
because when people start to feel alone, then they quit. And we won't stand for that. That's not cool.
Well, and I've been at this a long time. I've done really well the last few years, but I need these connections. I host this call, a Thursday call, a Friday call, a couple other ones, because I need to be connected during these days. My wife's in the house. My daughter and son-in-law and grandson live 4 blocks away, come by almost every day. I'm not lonely, but it's a lonely business at times. I can't share with them. I can't tell my wife, now you guys work together, and that's a whole different discussion. But my wife doesn't want to hear about some deal falling apart where my commission was $100,000. I mean, she's not in the business. She doesn't really think of it the way I do. I look at it as, fine, I'll get it back in escrow and we'll sell it. But in the moment, I'm discouraged. I need other people to share that with, to understand where that is. In real estate investing is the same way. You chase a deal, you don't get it. You chase a deal, you don't get it. It can be discouraging. You need somebody with you, say, come on, we'll get the next one. And that's what you guys really offer. And I do think it looks like a lot of fun. Now, I have to say, my focus in life isn't fun. I'm a little older than you guys. But I do appreciate fun when I see it. And it looks like you guys have a little too good a time. But the other part I would say is more than fun. Be careful now, you two. But the other part is I think that there's a certain accountability that you offer by being available all the time, right? I think we've all seen the guy who has the webinar and the fancy program and all the giveaways and all the fancy videos, and they disappear in thin air. And when it isn't working, you can't do anything. You can't complain to anybody. There's no social cost to them. Whereas you guys seem to show up in the same kind of groups regularly, that's what I try to do, make myself accountable. And I tell people all the time, nobody's chasing after me. Nobody's trying to sue me. Nobody's trying to serve me. I'm right there in public. If you want me, my address is in public records. I'm licensed, I think that many investor gurus kind of hide behind anonymity, and you guys are very real and put yourself on the line. I know you have family life. I know you have kids. How do you balance being real with, at times you need to shut it down?
I think it's just easier to be real than it is to try and figure out how to lie.
It is. You know what, Bill?
Yeah.
For me, this started like a really long time ago. When I very first invested in my education, I think I spent about 40 grand. And I got an education that was it was not very good. It was a lot of like high level theory, like 8 different classes on every different subject. And I left there still not understanding what exactly to do with anything. I later came back and was doing education for that same company because I was like, for Lord knows they need some like good education in there once I learned it. But I always felt like that the real estate education business was like, oh, okay, cool, we fulfilled, let's check a box. Like nobody actually cared. And I also felt like some of the people that would sell those programs would say anything to get people to invest. And back, this is like literally 2007. This is so long ago. And I was like, you know what? I believe that there is a way to absolutely tell the truth. And not only will people resonate with that, they will want you more because you don't blow sunshine up their butt and tell them how easy it is. You know what? Just tell me what's real. I can deal with it. Show me what to do. Don't tell me it's going to be easy if it's not. Just help me through when it's hard. And Jen and I we feel like if we're just honest with people, like you're going to have challenges, but guess what? We're going to be there with you.
Yep.
We'll hold your hand. We'll be here every Wednesday for the public. And we're here all the time for our students. And we just believe truth sells and actually helps people make real change in their life a lot more than flash in the pan and showing a Maserati. I don't even know. Is that an expensive car?
I have no
Whatever
idea.
expensive car that we're not buying because we have 4 kids that'll probably stick a gummy bear to the back
I
seat.
have a Chrysler Pacifica.
Yeah, it's embarrassing what we have, but we have 4 kids, so we have to have what we have right now.
I have 2 paid for cars. They're paid for. I have
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
They're paid for.
Right. Great.
My favorite.
definition. Yeah.
True.
Okay. Look, I could chat with you guys all day long. I find you guys a lot of fun and love the energy. But my goal here is to get other people to get engaged with you or get engaged in their own dream of wealth and income through real estate. That's what we're all here for. William Elkins, hand up. What is up, big guy? Nice to have you in the call.
Hey, Bill, how you doing, man?
Fantastic.
Good. No, I just wanted to echo the sentiments on kind of having a mastermind group, just a sphere of like-minded individuals, because it does get a little lonely in this business. And I was going to say, Bill, I don't know if you have one now, but what about a mastermind group just for agents, licensed agents, where we can bring deals and vent and just share our experiences? Because I know you guys deal with that on the investing side, but also as agents, I can't talk to my significant, the family that well, you should just quit, This business is tough. We told you not to get into it. And
right.
So do
That's
you
a good
have
idea.
any,
I've thought about it. I've often thought and tried to put together with some other team members how to do that. I think it's a fine line, masterminding and recruiting, and I don't want to come across as being just a recruiter. I'm in business to sell houses and help my clients. So, but definitely something to think about. But you're right. Having this group is okay, I'm going to ask him to leave. I'm sorry, 1 second.
I think it's William Holmes. Not to call out William Holmes, but
No, I don't think so.
no. Okay.
I think I got it. Okay, so we'll get that together.
Oh, my
Thank
bad.
you. Maybe it was. I don't think so, though. Okay, I think we got it. And now, good question. Good point. Masterminding is important. Look, the Think and Grow Rich, the classic book, says that when 2 people get together, a third mastermind is created. Right? That's where the term really comes from originally. And so, whatever it is you're doing, I always tell people you need 3 things to be successful if you want to transform in anything in life. You need a leader or a coach or a mentor or whatever the person who's the visionary, the Jen and Stacey. Number 1. Number 2, you need a process or a system or methodology that's consistent that people can use, that they're going to go to. The system, the process, the book, the Patriot Way if you're a Patriot football fan. And the 3rd is you have to have a team or colleagues or community or synagogue or church group of fellowship. You need other people who are there with you going through the process. You need all three of those things. And like I said, that's what attracted me to Jen and Stacy. Not for me, but I could ask, like this guy Rihanna asked, I get asked every day, how do I get started? And I feel bad to say, I felt bad for a long time to say, I don't know. I know how I got started, but my path was my path, and my path isn't your path today. But I do think that Jen and Stacy offer a great opportunity for a new person to get started who wants to invest, because they offer, I think they're great leaders. I think they have a clear methodology that they teach, and they obviously have a community that I've almost go to Orlando just to hang out with the parties, but that's not really my goal in life today. But anyhow, there you go. So William, thank you so much. Appreciate you jumping in. For everybody here, this is meant to be participative. You have questions, you're why we're here. Put in the chat box, raise your hand. If you're watching on the live stream on YouTube or Facebook, feel free to put a question there. I'll either answer it on the call. If you put it afterwards, I'll catch it afterwards. But the purpose of this call is for you, the person who's watching this saying, he's not talking to me. No, I'm talking to you. I want you to buy your first house, make some extra money. You don't have to have any money. You don't have to have credit. You got to put some work in. You got to roll up your sleeves. And then you have to find somebody who can help you and do what they tell you to do. So that's what we have this for. So, Jen, Stacy, both you guys, for either one of you, all the time, I'm sure you get people who say, oh my God, I love you guys. I'm going to do everything you tell me to do. I want to worship at your feet. I'm basically your robot programmed by your desires and instructions. And then a week later, they've done nothing. You've also had people who, whatever it is, quietly absorb it, and you're shocked to find out 30 days later, they've done everything you told them to do and a little bit more. What's the difference that you find between those two?
Fear. Fear is the difference between those two. So we have people that they know the system. They watch all the things on our online training platform. And when it comes to implement, they get stuck in a place of, oh no, if I make this call to a realtor, if I make a call to the broker and I start inquiring about a 5-unit or a 2-unit, whatever it is that I want to get into, and I don't know how to answer their questions, then what am I going to do? Right. And we can give them all the scripts and all the things, and we can role play with them, but they'll pause, and they'll stay stuck, or maybe they make it past that piece of fear, that part of fear. And now they've got deals coming in, they're analyzing them, but then they just hesitate to pull the trigger on making an offer. And so there's all these little tiny milestones that we have road mapped out for people in the program. Like, listen, man, this is your first milestone. First milestone is call a realtor, call a broker, break the ice, get out there, get uncomfortable. Everything you want's on the other side of fear. They get that deal coming in, they analyze it. And then their next milestone is, I got to make an offer. And then once it's accepted, it's then, okay, you got to do due diligence. And then they're afraid of the due diligence, and they're trying to make sure. And every time anybody goes through that first process, that every little first step of that process, it's a little wobbly, but
they fail. It's like they fail and they come back to you, and then they get over it, right? They fail and they can't get past it on their own. They come back to you, and it's a series of failures to get to the ultimate success.
And what it literally is a series of attempting, but then learning and adjusting and going forward and really getting a feel for it. And once they do that, now they've got competence, and they now have confidence in it. So they know the process, they can rinse and repeat it. And, but it's all in the mind. It's all in their mind.
I think you're right. I think 80% of all of it's mindset. It's if you're determined, you'll figure out how to do that. David, I see your hand up. I don't know if you have, I think you're muted there, and if you can, if you have a camera, turn it on. If not, how can we help you?
Yeah, I will put a camera just a second. You need to see how I look like. So I'm David. I'm Ukrainian. I live in America, 6 years already. So guys, I do flipping, house flipping. I buy, sell houses and land flipping, doing good. I try to do multifamily. I cannot find leads. Where do you find leads? Where do you find potential buyers?
Where are you looking?
Yeah, where are you looking?
Sacramento area. Where are you?
Well,
are you in, what area are you?
Well, we're actually we invest all over the U.S., David.
We're in 17 different markets.
Yeah, guess where I was when I started.
How can I be a friend with you? I can work with you.
I love this, David.
I'm a hustler. If I need to drive 2.5 hours to make a deal, I will drive it.
Oh, we'll teach you how to do the deal without driving 2.5 hours. How about that?
Yeah. David, I lived in Sacramento when I started, and I couldn't get deals. It required too much capital, and it didn't cash flow. If you want to get into multifamily and you don't happen to live in a market that cash flows, you have to be willing to expand your skill set. the skill set that will serve you right now, because you happen to live in California in an expensive market, is learning how to invest remotely. So that means like finding markets that meet the 1% rule, have steady or growing population, have steady or growing job growth. So right now for you, you know how to do it in person. So it's really, it's like it's hard to get your mind around doing it remotely.
Learning to flexible, learning to learn. I'm willing to change. It's not like be stubborn. And no, I'm willing to be flexible.
Well, I'll tell you this, David, last week on our weekly training and Ask Us Anything, which was last Wednesday, the topic we did was remote investing. It will be up until tomorrow when we do our next topic, and then it replaces it. So if you want to go watch, I don't know, what was it, 25 minutes?
It's about 25 minutes.
It's not very long, but then there was a Q&A after. If you want to just kind of start wrapping your mind around just the topic of that and like how that works.
Just the literal overall blueprint of what we do.
I'm happy to put the link to that in the chat, Bill, if you're okay with it.
Yeah, Stacy, you can do whatever you want.
Watch that.
Yeah, I'm not gonna tell you no, Stacy. You can do whatever you want. I've had to bleep you 3 times.
It's your show.
Right. But yeah, David, definitely watch that replay from last week's training. And then you know what you can do is you can come to tomorrow's training and ask us any questions that you have after you've watched it.
Yeah.
Okay. How can I get in touch with you?
Right. Yeah, you can, if you go to that link, it's wowaua.com, which is our network is called Warriors of Wealth. That's what WOW is. And AUA is Ask Us Anything. But if you go to wowaua.com and you register, it'll say you're registering for tomorrow's Ask Us Anything. But when you go to the next page, it has the replay. And then you can basically schedule a call. We have a Facebook group also.
Yep.
Where you can connect with us there. And I mean, we are just around. Every Wednesday, we do a live training where people can come on. It's like a 20-minute training and then open Q&A. You can connect with us that way. Facebook.
And I've done that. I've been in the WOW program with them. I've been on their Facebook group. And again, the thing I find most interesting or attractive, I should say, to prospective investors, where I feel comfortable having you on and recommending you, is you guys are available. You're not hiding behind some anonymous webinar, hiding for the rest of the time. You are out there, and if something goes wrong, you're going to deal with it one way or another. You may use some R-rated language, but you're going to deal with a problem and teach somebody how to do something. And that's the charm, is that you're available and you're real. And I like to think the same about me, that that's why I respect it, that it's very easy to tell people how great you are as a real estate agent. It's a little different to be online a couple times a week and record it and make yourself available to people and answer questions. And so that's to me, the key. So David, there you go. You have an option. The website is one option. And then I put on before the Remote Multifamily Investing Academy is on their Facebook page. Those are 2 great ways you can interact with them and get involved with the program and get involved investing with them. Okay.
I will. Thank you very much.
Great. Thank you so much, David.
You're welcome. David.
That's for everybody here. Obviously, that's why is to share that program with you. And like I said, I don't go on the Tuesday call because I host something at the same time, but I do follow the Facebook group and look at the notes and the messages. And these people are really doing business, which is exciting to see. So. I wanted to ask something else. We're talking about fear. So obviously part of fear, overcoming fear, is your program, your coaching, your systems, your camaraderie. What do you recommend for people to work on their mindset? What do you see as good tools, solutions, vitamins? I think of spiritual washes. What do you recommend to people who are stuck in they're watching the news, and of course the world's falling apart. If you go on YouTube, there's 10 million. It's funny. I think I ran a search where 78 million YouTubes in the last month on housing market crash. Meanwhile, I got my checks. Meanwhile, I'm closing deals. So what do you do to help keep people's mindset focus on the things they need to focus on?
I would literally say, watch the news only to glean what you need in order to make an empowered decision, right? Don't let it saturate your mind and put you in a place of fear. But if you do end up in a place of fear, one of the first things that I always coach our students through, because I'm the mindset person, is I always talk about, well, what is it that you want? Like crystal clear on what you want. What do you want? And then why do you want it? Right. And that why, ask yourself why 5 times till you get down to the actual why. So that way, when you face a challenge, okay, why did I start? Why did I start this? And go back to your why. Get connected. But then the next step is to actually ask yourself, what would be the ultimate cost if I didn't take this massive action to get there?
Ouch.
What's the ultimate cost?
Ouch.
And what's that ultimate cost today? Then what's that ultimate cost a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now? And I actually have my students feel the weight of that in their body. What does it look like 20 years from now? If you don't change this today, like what must you do that you don't want to do in order to get that result? And they'll tell me what they must do, but they don't want to do. And then I just tell them, well, when would now be the right time to go do that?
When would right now?
When would right now be yeah, exactly. And everything in our brain, in our mindset is all language. It's all language, what meaning we assign to things, and whatever meaning we assign to that. If it's a disempowering meaning, then we're going to be stuck.
Right.
But if we assign a meaning that I can take action on, and I know through that action, I'm going to get to my result. Part of the problem is a lot of people will ask themselves the wrong questions. We ask ourselves, why is this happening? Or why is inflation going on? Why are the gas prices so high? Why do I keep doing this? Why can't I fill in the blank? And a why question, it just is a looping question. If you ask yourself why you're doing something, your subconscious mind's going to answer you and validate all of the reasons why, and therefore you're going to continue to do it. Instead, you got to ask yourself what questions. What can I be doing? How can I do it? Those types of questions are more action focused. So if I ask myself, what can I do to achieve this goal and enjoy the process? That's a different question.
Right.
What massive action can I take in order to achieve my outcomes? And what clarity do I need, or what do I need to know in order to have absolute clarity so I can take action? So the questions that we ask ourselves 9 times out of 10 are what keep us stuck. Because usually what people do is they'll ask the questions of what happens if I fail, but they never ask what happens if I succeed.
Wow.
Never do we ask that, right? So instead, flip the script on yourself and ask yourself both. If you're going to give yourself credit for failing, give yourself credit for succeeding, and ask yourself, what would it take? What evidence is there in my world that I'll actually fail? Or will I make a decision, possibly make a mistake, learn from it, and move forward? And then now I know, right? Now I know. And knowledge is power, but it's potential power, because you can have all the knowledge in the world, but if you don't do something with it, it's no good.
Right.
So I can't sit here asking myself why and taking no action. I've got to ask myself, what action can I take instead?
I've created a whole library on the YouTube channel on probate real estate, and occasionally get somebody will call me and say, I've watched every one of your YouTubes. And I think, oh, good God. They've spent all these hours not doing anything but watching my YouTube. I mean, on one hand, I'm flattered. How could you not be? On the other hand, and I appreciate it. On the other hand, and of course, it's designed to be addictive. Okay, great. But on the other hand, it's like, watch one and then do something. Then watch another one and do something. Like, you got to get into action on this stuff, whatever it is you want to do with real estate. I think that's the mistake people make, is they think by going to classes, that's not work time. For me, that's research time. For me, that's admin time, learning. And I do learn a lot. I do watch a lot. I do participate in seminars, webinars, classes, but that's not work.
No.
That's design time. That's somewhat entertainment, edutainment, whatever you want to term it. But work is calling people, door knocking, driving properties, running numbers, researching properties, whatever the process is, talking to people. But merely just sitting in a room and watching somebody else share their success is no more than playing. If you go to the Lakers game, you sit in the seats. You're not playing basketball. You're watching basketball. Okay, that's fun, but that's not playing basketball. And I think with real estate, too many people are sitting in the stands cheering you guys and other people. And I know you're encouraging. You're saying, "Hey, come play with us." And there's so many people who are content just to watch. So.
Yeah, our motto is that multifamily real estating is not a spectator sport. You got to get out of the stands and into the Coliseum and get some cash flow going. It's just a fact. They will sit there and binge on videos because that is what is certain to them and comfortable. If I just get that one last bit of knowledge, if I just get more clarity on this, then I'll have the courage. No, you got to just, be afraid and do it anyway.
Well, I can binge watch videos and eat popcorn at the same time. I can't actually make phone calls and eat popcorn at the same time. So
that's a secondary gain, Bill. That's good.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's my, if you can eat popcorn when you're doing it, it's not really work. That's kind of my criteria at a base level. So, okay, look, guys, it's been a lot of fun. I really enjoyed time with you. So we talked about somebody wants to find more of you, more of Jen and Stacey, as if there's any more left after all we've had on this call today. It's been great. So the way they'd find you is warriorsofwealth.com, warriorsofwealth.com. And that was also AOA, WWAOA, but warriorsofwealth.com is the easy way to find you. And on Facebook, you guys have the remote multifamily investing academy, which is all
Can you
about,
write down the words? Can you write down links?
I'll type them in.
Please.
okay, good. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
WWAUA, AOA. I don't know. I can't even read at this point. Somebody's going to type it in the chat box. Thank you so much. Our producer, which is one, there you go, remote multifamily investing Facebook group. And I'm just going to copy and paste the link. So, when you're when you guys are on Zoom calls, I hope you know that you can always download the chat and catch the notes or the input stuff later. Don't lose it. When you're on a call, on your own, on the Zoom desktop, it's more obvious, the chat box. There's 2 dots, and then you can download the file as a text file, but you can also do it on your phone. So take advantage anytime you're on a Zoom call, kind of a power tip. You want to download the notes or download contact information. And then also anytime you're on, and I'm going to offer you guys, if you want to put your contact information, if you're an investor, you're looking for certain properties or you have certain properties, put your contact info in. If you're a real estate agent, feel free to put your name and contact info. We're glad to promote you. If you're a vendor, I know Sean Barrett's our favorite photographer. He's on. Jack Lapidus is a great real estate attorney in San Fernando Valley. Always love to support him and his business and what he's doing. So William Elkins put his information on his car service. Thanks so much. Okay, so there we go. We have the links, information in the chat box. You guys want to download the chat if you can, or copy and paste, or get the links. Cheyenne is a realtor in South Bay. I know Cheyenne. How you doing? Nice to have you on the call today. So we're gonna wrap it up again, ladies. It's always a lot of fun with you guys. I just feel like throw some water in, mix it up, and we have a party online about real estate. You guys are fun to talk to. Thanks for all your support, and thank you for the way you support the real estate industry by helping new people get started. I know I appreciate it. And support wholeheartedly. So Jen and Stacey, they are the Warriors of Wealth. We do this call every Tuesday, 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern. We live stream it on Facebook and YouTube. It's recorded there as well. I'm Bill Gross, the LA probate expert. This is the official podcast of LArealestateinvesting.com. We're the official podcast. We have a once-a-month event in Los Angeles on the second Thursday at 6 o'clock at the Inman Center. Go to LAREIC.com for more information. That's LAREIC. Thanks, guys, so much. Love having you always.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.